All right, welcome back to the 500s podcast with your host, Sam and Ryan. We're here to talk about everything about the Toronto Blue Jays, starting with some news that the playoff schedule has been announced, actually. So, MLB just released this news that the postseason schedule will start early October, which means the regular season goes into October again for the I don't know how much, but yeah. So the wild card that's gonna start October 3rd. It's gonna go to October 5th. The American League and National League Division Series are gonna start October 7th, and they're going to go to the 14th. Well, the NLDS looks to be going till the 14th, and the ALDS is going to go to the 13th, meaning that the championship series for both leagues is going to start on, well, actually, the ALCS is going to start on October 15th, and the NLCS is going to start on October the 16th, meaning that the World Series is going to start October the 27th and go till November 4th. That we're going to be both in school when that happens. I'm starting my first year of college, and Ryan's just finishing up high school. So, playoff stuff. I don't know how many episodes or how many shows we're going to have on Blue Jays tonight, but, good that the schedule is out, huh, Ryan?
Yeah, it's really good the schedule's out. Obviously, the Jays, in our opinion, they'll make the playoffs. Hopefully, they, win the World Series. That'd be obviously a dream for all of us come true. But they got to start, keep that hard work up, keep the good pitching up, and keep the good offense up. So, yeah.
No, yeah, it's good. It's good to see that
Say it like
the playoff schedule is coming out. Obviously, teams are just going to start announcing playoff tickets soon. Obviously, most teams are saying, hey, you can get access to the postseason if you buy 2024 season tickets. The Blue Jays have already done it across their social media pages. I'm sure other teams have done it as well. I haven't looked at a bunch of other teams. But, if you want to get into some non-Blue Jays news, this is a topic that I think we brought up before the show. What's going on with the Orioles suspending their play-by-play guy? He didn't do anything wrong, huh?
Yeah, he's the Orioles guy. His name is Kevin Brown. He got suspended indefinitely because he said that Baltimore has historically, recently not played good in Tropicana Field, which is true. But this year they've been playing a lot better. And he, told the fans what the fans should have heard. And because we have a not good society of cancel culture, he got canceled and he got suspended. So those are my thoughts on it. What about you, Sam?
Well, the thing is, I'm going through Twitter and stuff, and I'm seeing tweets from actual broadcasters. And they're saying, I'm going through this clip and I'm listening for whatever he said bad and I didn't hear anything and now I'm confused. Well, you should be confused because there's nothing bad said there. He didn't say anything bad. He mentioned the Orioles' past history hasn't been good. And he said, oh my goodness, this team has improved a lot. You guys should be all happy with the Baltimore Orioles. They're finally winning. And what does the team do for his comments? Granted, there was a graphic pulled up. They pulled up a graphic. And whenever that happens, they probably actually just discussed it in the production meeting before the game. Because, every game, every time there's a major production, whether it's sports, news, they have production meetings. Say, what are we going to say on the program? What things are we going to bring up? Because, baseball, it's a slow sport. You need to fill the gaps, and that's where it comes in. You fill the gaps. Now, this was in the opening, and his, at the end of the clip, his broadcast partner, I don't know his name, but he seemed to agree with everything Kevin said. So, it's not like Kevin just brought something up that wasn't supposed to be brought up. There's a graphic up there. They even played the background music to let him know that the graphic was up. So it was really, really weird that they suspended him, and it's really annoying. But anyways, more Blue Jays news. How about we listen to what Ross Atkins had to say. But before we do that, let's go over some of the injury news, is what he talked about. So we'll bring up Ross Atkins, kind of like the summary of what Ross Atkins said in his media availability on MLB Network on High Heat with Alana Rizzo, and he basically said Hyunjin Ryu, the X-rays came back negative, which is good news, right? And then for Bo Bichette, said progressing well, but he just didn't give out the details that I think we wanted. He's like, oh wow, well they're progressing very nicely and they're doing great, but he didn't even answer the questions were, when can we see them back? He just gave an update on how they're doing. How are we supposed to come up with a date on when they're gonna come back if he's just telling us a brief summary of how they're doing? We're not inside the organization. We don't know this stuff, right? I don't know. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with everything we said. Just specific days they will return, I think would have been better than just how they're feeling. If you could have given a date, let's say for Ryu it's August 15th or August 20th, that I think that would have been better than just saying, oh, he got injured. Well, not Ryu, but Bo Bichette or Romano. If he gave a specific date. Not to mention, he hasn't been giving the most updates about Chad Green, who's been out forever. And he's gone through already 2 rehab starts in AAA. He went through a couple with Dunedin. And I really want to hear what he has to say on Chad Green, because there's also no video on Chad Green pitching. So I think he also needs to give an update on Chad Green too. So that's what I think.
Yeah, well, here's what he had to say on Bo Bichette in the interview. We're probably going to get copyrighted for this, but, whatever. You guys can take a listen to what he had to say on Bo Bichette.
Great day for him as well yesterday, where he was moving around with very few symptoms, if almost none at all. We're obviously going to progress him cautiously and be careful with how we're loading that knee. But he had a really, really encouraging day where he felt much better yesterday. So I think we're still day to day as we progress out of this, but really good day for him yesterday.
Yeah. So that's what Ross had to say on Bo Bichette. That's good. It's good. Like I said, it's good news. It's just the question was, when can we expect him back, right? And Ross just basically gave an update on him. Bo Bichette's still young. I feel like he's gonna come back very soon and he's gonna recover nicely because he's that young. But you never know, right? They could be hiding something. He could be out for a month. Obviously, I don't think they would announce that he's doing great and then say that an hour later, oh yeah, he's gonna be out for the next month. But I don't know. When do you think Bo Bichette's going to come back? Because hopefully it's soon.
I think Bo, I'm actually going to get my updates on all the players. Ryu, I think it's going to be either hot, and I think it's kind of maybe rare, but maybe either next start or a week and a half. I think Romano will be back against the Cubs, and then I think Bo will be back against the Cubs. Same Richards, I'm not too sure about, and then there's obviously Simber and Green, which Green should be back next series. But yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you, Sam?
Well, yeah, the Romano stuff and the Chad Green, obviously those are 2 arms we'd like to have back. Chad Green hasn't pitched as a Blue Jay yet. He's coming back from surgery. Jordan Romano's battling back issues. He didn't give an update on Trevor Richards, if I'm not mistaken. He talked a little bit about Bo Bichette. He talked a little bit about Hyunjin Ryu. He talked a little bit about Paul DeJong, and this is interesting. He's saying that he really likes the addition of Paul DeJong. He's saying that DeJong's fit in well. Sure, the defense has been great. Not even like there's a couple plays we've seen from Paul DeJong so far where he almost just didn't get the guy out. Like last night, final play of the game, you saw the stretch from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. It was all Vladdy on that play. And then early on in the game, I think it was in the first inning when Andres Jimenez like legged out an infield single. It was overruled, so he was out. But Paul DeJong's just sitting there waiting at shortstop, right? And he's not doing anything. And then he just lightly tosses the ball nonchalant over to first base. It's like, oh, wait, I didn't get him? Well, yeah, you didn't get him. You got to pay attention. So I'll play what Ross Atkins had to say on Paul DeJong here.
He's been awesome. He really has played. He's been really steady. Obviously, a very, very reliable defender. He's fit right in, extremely professional. We feel good about him on this team, complimenting us. We feel, that obviously he'll have to potentially play some different positions and be ready to go. Shortstop is needed, if at all. But he's been really steady for us, and glad he's a part of the team for sure.
Ross.
Yeah. So, and then they get into more updates, but, he's been really steady. I don't even think he's been steady. Like, sure, he's made the routine plays, but again, he's had a couple of plays now where he's either, like, bobbled the ball and got lucky and gotten the runner out, and then he's had some plays where Guerrero's just had to save him fully to make sure he doesn't make a throwing error. Like, I know your thoughts on Paul DeJong hitting, but what's your opinion on Paul DeJong defensively so far?
Well, I think defensively, I'd say he's been decent, nothing crazy. Like, I just checked his baseball savant. His outs above average went from 97 to 94, right? And that's already three difference. So yeah, I think he needs to start finding his grounding a little bit. I know it's only been 6 games, but the bat hasn't been the greatest. But granted, obviously, 6 games. But yeah, I would love to see him just start doing better, and wishing nothing but the best for the guy, because I heard he's a beautiful human being. So yeah, that's really all I have to say on Paul.
Yeah, he's a good human. That's for sure. He's nice.
There's a lot of things in the community, so shout out to him for that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then more on Ryu as the Blue Jays continue their series with the Cleveland Guardians tonight. Hyunjin Ryu, right, like when he got brought out of the game, I think this was either during the broadcast or just like online somewhere, he wanted to go back into the game when he was going down the steps to the dugout. Like, he asked John Schneider if he could go back into the game, and obviously John Schneider's like, no, we're not doing that. So, like that's crazy, man. That's crazy. You love to see it in your starting pitcher. I know. I brought this up to you before we started recording, and you were like, "Yeah, that's what you want to see out of one of your starting pitchers." But obviously, due to precautionary reasons, Schneider brought him out of the game.
Right. Nice. Yeah. Hopefully Ryu can get better. Obviously, hit him at a bad spot. It was pretty scary because he was like, a little bit running towards the bag, threw the ball to Vladdy, and then he just collapses and just goes down and looks like he's in the worst pain in his life. So truly, Hyunjin, from me and Sam, I hope you get better, man. And recover well, man, because we're gonna need you in that rotation. Especially since we love Alek Manoah, but we're still not too sure what we're gonna get from him. I know he's been better, but would love to have Ryu back in the rotation.
Yeah, definitely. I know they're rocking a 6-man right now because they have a 17-game and 17-day stretch facing the Guardians and then the Cubs, and they get an off day before a 2-gamer against Philadelphia next week. Just going back to the playoff schedule, actually, I just got this tweet from Bob Nightingale on a little bit of a more detailed playoff schedule and like when the actual like game 1, game 2, game 3 and all of them are. This is the wild card and the division series, so we'll go through that. So obviously on October 3rd, it's all the game 1. So it's both the AL wild cards, both the NL wild cards. They are all on ESPN. October 4th and October 5th, games 2 and 3 respectively. Obviously, if some series end in 2 games, then the October 5th date might be a little bit thin in terms of baseball action. And then teams will have at least a day off in between on the 4th on the 6th to get ready for their next series. The American League side of things is on Fox or FS1. Obviously, for Blue Jays fans, Sportsnet will have that for you. And obviously, if you're not in Canada and you don't have any of these major networks, MLB TV will have it if you have that subscription. But Fox and FS1 will have the American League Division Series. TBS will have the National League Division Series. Those games will start on Saturday, October 7th. I always like when game 1s, I feel like there's going to be a bunch of afternoon game 1s, and those are always pretty cool. I like just sitting down on the couch, or like in my room and watching a game in the afternoon. Watch the game all the way through, and by that time it's not 12 midnight, and I'm like, okay, I'm tired now. But yeah, game 1 Saturday, game 2 for the American League is Sunday, game 3 for the game 2 for the American League, as I said, Sunday, game 2 for the National League side of things is Monday, game 3 for the American League side is Tuesday, game 3 for the National League side is Wednesday, and then you get into the ALDS game 4 is actually also on Wednesday if necessary. National League game 4, if necessary, is on Thursday, and then they keep on flip-flopping until you get to game 5, obviously, if that is necessary. But that is kind of like the updated schedule. So obviously, Division and Championship Series for American League, that's all going to be on Fox and FS1. National League Division and Championship Series, that's all going to be on TBS. And then obviously the World Series, if that contract hasn't ended, it'll probably be on Fox as well. So that's an updated schedule for the postseason as we get closer. It's obviously, we're almost in the middle of August, so, we only have really like a month and a half until October baseball, which is crazy to think about. But I just want to know, Ryan, what's your favorite thing about the postseason? What do you like the most?
I don't know. Probably just seeing the atmosphere, the fans go crazy. That's probably my favorite part. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I like the opening when they show the crowds and all the rally towels and stuff like that they give away for postseason games. I think if your team doesn't give away either a rally towel or the tomahawk that the Braves do, I don't know what you're doing, right? Like, you got to give away something for the fans to show their appreciation and cheering for your team. I like what the Braves do with their tomahawks during the game. That's pretty cool. But if you don't have that like the Braves do, you got to have rally towels. Like, if you're going to a playoff game, you want that rally towel, man. They're fun. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But other than the playoffs, because like no team is clinched yet, and only a couple of teams are like, okay, they're gonna make the playoffs. There's no way they don't. The Blue Jays. We haven't even gotten into what the Blue Jays have been up to recently. We've been talking about all the news and everything that's come up. The Blue Jays just went to Cleveland last night, and they got the win 3-1. Hyunjin Ryu, like we said, pitched 4 innings. He had to come out of the game because a line drive hit his knee, got the out, and then collapsed. He'll be out. He has a contusion on his knee, is what the team kind of said yesterday. And then we saw Jay Jackson, Genesis Cabrera, Eric Swanson, Jimmy Garcia, Tim Meza, and Jordan Hicks combined to pitch the next, I want to say 5 innings. So, good on them. Garcia kind of had a rough one. Meza, a little rough as well. Hicks got a little bit sketchy in the 9th inning, but he closed it out. That game seemed like it was going to be more like a 3-2 score than an actual 3-1. I'm surprised they didn't give up any runs in that 9th inning. But, I know we discussed this in our latest video, but what are your overall thoughts on the win?
Yeah, I thought the boys played. Thought the pitching was pretty good. Obviously, only 1 run. I thought the offense, did enough to get the job done. But yeah,
I
that's
agree.
really good.
Gavin Williams for the Guardians was amazing, and I kind of think that the late innings of this game and the way it ended kind of overshadowed what a start he had for the Guardians. 7 innings, 1 hit, 12 strikeouts, only 1 walk. He hit a batter. That was Danny Jansen. Improves his ERA to 2.90. And I think he's only 24 years old. I think he's really, really young. I'm going to check that right now. Yeah, 1999, so he would be 24. Yeah, there it is. 24 years old. That's crazy to think about. But
Yeah.
before we kind of wrap things up, let's kind of go over the schedule for the Jays coming up. So they have this 4-game series against the Cleveland Guardians, and then they go back home to face the Cubs for 3, and they have the Philadelphia Phillies for 2 games down the stretch into next week. A week from today, they open up the 2-game series against the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm just going to pull up the actual 2023 schedule for the month of August. So yeah, 4 games against the Guardians, 2 more 7:10 p.m. starts, and then we have a 1:10 on Thursday with the Cubs coming to town over the weekend, 7:07, 3:07, 1:37, and then 2 7:07s against the Phillies. And then we go to Cincinnati for 3 games. We have two 6:40 starts and then a 1:40 start. We have the Orioles, 3 7:05s in Baltimore. And then we're actually coming home to face the Guardians again, 7:07, 1:30, 3:07, 1:37, and we have the Nationals coming to town for the week after. So the schedule kind of thins out, especially with the Astros in Baltimore right now. This is going to be a good opportunity for the Blue Jays to overtake the Astros, especially with their schedule thinning out. What do you think about the possibility of us overtaking Houston?
I definitely do think we'll overtake Houston. I think Houston's a solid team. Obviously, they added JV at the deadline, but I think the Jays have just, like I said, getting Schneider has just really provided a spark offensively. Now, I don't want to say the offense is back, but I think they've been progressing they've been progressing pretty good. So, yeah, I think the offense has been better. Obviously, the pitching's been lights out the whole season. Then, obviously, the outfield defense and the infield defense been pretty solid. So, yeah, I think definitely we could for sure overtake Houston as long as the Bats keep doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, since the Astros are near the capital, they actually got to visit the White House the other day. I saw that. That happens with every team. I wonder if we win, we get to go to the Parliament buildings in Ottawa. That'd be cool, right?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I don't think the White House would invite us over there. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to go there anyways. We're a Canadian team, all right. Most of our players might be American, and they might be amused at doing that. But come on, we're a Canadian team. We need to go to Ottawa. We need to go to the nation's capital. Probably I don't know when we would do that because obviously maybe we do that like during the off season after, like during like the winter tour. Because like there's no team in Ottawa. There's no team close, like maybe Boston or New York. We stop by there, but like what do you think? Because like I don't know what the players would think of like I know some players do that for the winter tour in Canada in the winter when it's like minus 30 degrees outside, but I don't think all of them would want to do that.
I think most of the team would view it as an honor to go to the Parliament building because, it's a pretty historic place. When they would schedule it, not sure about that because obviously the Parliament building is very busy. So those are really my thoughts on it. But yeah, it would be pretty cool to see the Jays go to the Parliament building.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that would be pretty cool. I mean, just seeing them win would be amazing. Seeing them make the playoffs right now would be great as well, especially overtaking the Astros.
The World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, I would rather get the number 1 wild card spot or be in the 3 because like if we don't get the number 1, we're number 2 and have to play Tampa at the Trop for 3 games. It's not. Yeah, it's not really what you want to do. It's not.
Well, right now, if we made the playoffs, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience, please, but I think we'd be playing the Twins.
Yes, we would.
If my logic's correct. Now, the Twins, like I said, they have, they have, like, Johan Duran. Even though he's not having the best season, they still have Carlos Correa. They have, they have some really good players over there. I'm probably forgetting a couple really good ones, but...
I mean, they have Edouard Julien, Canadian boy. Yeah. He's doing great.
Pablo Lopez.
Yep.
Really, really good starter this year. But yeah, the Twins, like, I feel like that'd be a more even match than the Rays. But you know what? In the playoffs, what it comes down to is what team wants it the most, what team wants to win it the most. That's the team that's going to win it the most because they're going to persevere through everything. So if the Jays want to go win that World Series, they're going to go win it.
Yeah. They just have to want it. They just have to want it.
You gotta want it.
Yeah.
You also have to hate to lose. If you hate to lose, then you have a really good mindset and attitude.
Yeah, it should be a fun stretch run. Hopefully we don't get anything that happened last year because last year was just not... We just want to put that in the rear view mirror and just not talk about it. So the Mariners are the team that are chasing us right now. They are the closest team to us in the wild card standings, as we're in the 3rd wild card spot, right behind the Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays. I actually just want to look at the wild card here. So the Mariners are 3 games back of us. The Red Sox are 5. The Yankees are 5.5. And then the Angels are 8 games back. The Guardians, 9.5 games back of us. They're probably much closer in their division, to be honest with you. Not only because they're in second place, I believe, but also the American League Central is not. It's not the most competitive division. Yeah, I do believe 5.5 games back. They're in second place. Detroit is in 3rd right now. They're 10 games back. So, yeah, very important stretch run in order to stay in front of these teams. Some of these teams may not deserve to be this close to us, but again, they are not playing in the American League East. They are playing in much easier divisions, no offense. So, going to be a tough stretch for the Blue Jays, even with their schedule evening out, just with other teams being really competitive. But final thoughts on the Jays right now before we wrap things up.
I think what the Jays are going to have to do, like I said, the offense is going to have to be consistent, and what they're going to have to do in the playoffs is it's pretty simple. Offense do like their job and then leave it off to the bullpen. Because the starters, I feel mostly confident. Obviously, we're still trying to figure out that 5 spot, whether it's Manoah, Ryu, But yeah, like, as long as the offense does their job in the playoffs, leave it to the bullpen. And the bullpen's been absolutely lights out this year because in total they have a 3.18 ERA. So yeah, I think just leave it to the bullpen, let them do their thing, and then you can win some serious games down there.
For sure. That's going to do it for us at the 500s podcast. You can watch us on YouTube, and I'm sure I'll work some magic and get us on other platforms in the future. So, with that said, have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you later.